Good morning, everyone. This is Charlotte, and we are chatting in cars. It's a podcast where I pick out random topics and discuss them. Hopefully, you might get some insight into them. There is a trigger warning. I do swear. We do talk about some sensitive topics. These are all based on information I've gathered over the last 37 years. You will hear beeping as I am currently driving. So I thought my purpose of this podcast is to get my brain clear, but sometimes some of the weird shit I say might be entertaining to someone, so I doubt it, but yeah, I don't know. I've got a 45-minute drive today to work, so hopefully something that's not absolute dribble will come out of my brain. The topic for today is materialism. It's also a way for me to wake my brain up in the morning because I've got to go into a classroom in a minute, and those kids are bastards when they want to be. Anyway, that's not on you guys. That's just me being a teacher for 12 years. Alright, so materialism. What is it? Growing up, I always thought materialism was, people who are so cutthroat that they want to be rich, that they will, screw everyone around them. It's always seen as a negative thing where I came from. But then again, I came from a background where no one had any money. And so, to have money was something to be shamed because, Durkheim's othering, they've got money, they're not one of us. So they're assholes, and obviously they're materialistic, and it was given this negative light. I have since moved into a slightly better area. There's still what I deem as materialistic kind of things, but I always saw it as more like, you're seeking a way to get out of a shit conditions that you live in. It's not that you're going to become obsessed with money, but rather, as in my case, you're obsessed with getting out of the gutter that you were raised in. And I mean that in a negative way because the gutter that I was raised in was, heavy crime, heavy abuse, drug use, all to do with the poverty cycle. And I grew up in the poverty cycle, and to be honest, there's nothing ennobling about that. Some people romanticize it and they say, we're striving to be the underdog and we will survive. We've got strong survival instincts. So yes, you have to have that to survive there, but at the same time, you should be seeking a means to get out. You should be looking to give your kids a better future, not just sitting in it and although how many people are actually just sitting in it because it's a great lifestyle. It's not a fucking great lifestyle. It's horrible. Anyone who tries to romanticize poverty is fucking insane. It is horrible, horrible lifestyle. I grew up in it. I grew up using food banks, sitting on welfare, having to live amongst crackheads, things like that. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it when I had to sign back on again as a student for the welfare, and when I had to sign back on when I had to do the the COVID lockdown and everything. I hate that I came from a poverty cycle, but I will tell you what, it does teach you resilience, and you do learn how to use your funds appropriately, because as soon as you fuck something up in that regard, you will go right back down to the shit-ass gutter that you came from. So you'll find a way to, learn some skills that help you survive. It does teach you survival skills. Alternatively, seeking wealth or financial stability, as I call it, in order to get out of those circumstances is deemed in that culture, in that poverty cycle culture, as materialism, and it's seen in a negative light mainly because nobody really has a chance to get out of that poverty cycle. It's a hard cycle to break, and so money becomes a dirty word. Unless, of course, you're in the criminal side of things, and you're nicking stuff and fencing it, and then it's like, money. It is synonymous with being what the English call posh or snobby. Anyone who's looking for money is obviously, will cut their mother's throat just to get a pound, But to me, at this point, I've lived the cycle. I don't want to keep living the cycle. I'm willing to, make sure I'm careful with my spending and get a decent job. I've got a decent job. I'm a teacher. It's okay. It's not great. It's a good job for a single person, definitely. It's not sitting on the welfare line, which was the whole reason I went in, one of the reasons I wanted to speed up my degree was to get off Centrelink, as we have over here, because it is just a shockingly shit show. It's like you will get into debt trying to rely on the welfare system here. It's fucked. So, poverty will teach you to look after your shit. It will. Once you get something nice, you want to look after it. Having said that, I've seen some people that get nice things and then ruin it because they don't know how to look after it because they've lived in poverty, because they just assume they're going to lose it, so they break it anyway. My background told me, you get something nice, you look after it, you make it spread. You don't waste it. You take it as far as you can, and only when it dies do you discard it. If you can't fix it, you discard it. So these principles I've taken into my current situation where I've got a fairly decent paycheck. I can treat myself with things like jewelry and stuff like that, which I could never do growing up. All of my possessions came from hand-me-downs or op shops or bought on the cheap, and they were shared, or, from my parents' friends' kids or something like that. Everything was passed around and everything was shared to make that money spread a bit further. We never had money. So when I got a job and I started, I wasn't paying for myself at the start. I was married to an arsehole. So I was paying for us, essentially. But when I got my independence from him, I then started buying myself nice things, reinvesting into my own self-worth, because I knew I was doing the work, but I was never rewarding myself for doing the work, because I was always looking to, pay the bills for us, or, I was always spending on him. I've got a weird habit in a relationship where I use all my money on them. I don't know why. It's horrible. I'm not trying to buy their affection. I'm just like, oh, presents. I'm going to give you presents. Presents. So I ended up losing a shitload of money sending him to Bali and stuff. So it's like, oh, but he loves it. He wants to go. Yeah, we'll do that. That's nice. That's a nice thing to do. It's a lovely mindset, but it's not a very productive one. You will lose a lot of wealth on that. So I lost him because he was a arrogant arsehole. And then I picked up an ex-boyfriend who also arrogant arsehole and I wasted a lot of money on. Anyway, so the current situation is I am being able to buy myself nice things, reinvest into things I want that I know are going to perpetuate more wealth, and create some stability in life. I mean, I've never had stability, which, oh my God, do I crave air at this point, the chaos that has been the last 37 years. So at this point I'm aiming to, get an apartment of my own with my name on it, not with anyone else's name, and then I want to get a dog. I'm aiming for a corgi, and I'm going to call it Binky. Then I'm going to go on a holiday back to the UK because I miss my home. And these are my goals, and this is what I have. And some might call it materialistic. I don't know, because I'm chasing the coin, but at this point it's more like I'm chasing stability, to be honest. Being materialistic can be a negative aspect or a concept, of course. If you are willing to throw people under the bus just to get a coin, or to promote yourself to a situation where you are incredibly wealthy to the point where you can use it as a powerful weapon against people, then yes, obviously there's evil in it. If you are looking at money as a means to get out of a poverty cycle, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But then again, the question is, at what point do you draw the line? It's like, at what point does getting out of a poverty cycle and getting stability cross over to being an asshole? I'm looking at celebrities right now. I'm going, do you really need this much shit, or are you just, having it to lord it over people? It's that kind of arrogance that I can't support with materialism. But at the same time, they've got these ridiculous jobs that pay these ridiculous amounts. And I'm sitting there thinking, why do these jobs even have these pay amounts? It's like, what? It's like, I mean, it's commission from sales if you're a music artist, or, if you're a celebrity in a movie, of course. You're getting commission from ticket sales and things like that. But why? It's like, shouldn't it be taken out in tax or something like that, redistributed to, I don't know, cancer research or something? It seems strange that one person should have this vast amount of wealth and they show it off, which is stupid because you're just going to get robbed, and just lord it over people who have not got the same chance to earn the same amount. I mean, that's not to say you can't go into the same type of jobs. I mean, if you want to try and aim for that amount, yeah, go into the same kind of jobs. It is a fight, but it seems such a stark contrast from, say, a doctor's wage, which is fucking good, compared to a celebrity's wage. It's like there is a stark contrast. It's like, how is one considered more valuable because it's on the public stage compared to a person who's actually saving lives? It's like this weird contrast gets me every time. And people don't want to do the right thing and ennoble their careers and be a doctor. They want to go and be a TikTok fucking star or an Instagram influencer because they want the high amount of money. And it's like, what the fuck does that contribute to anything in human society? So what does that help with? It's not healing anyone. It's not educating anyone. It's not. All it is like ego stroking. I would have put my tits on TikTok. Wow, I got so many likes. Wow, yes, it's a pair of tits. Who cares? It doesn't add value to anything. It's like, how did you cure cancer? I flashed my ass. It's like, no. And I'm sure South Park could do an episode on that. I don't know. They did cure AIDS by, what was it, Magic Johnson or something like that? They ground down money and injected it into him, or something like that. It was something stupid. I'm going, yeah, that's possibly how they're thinking it works. But the stark contrast in, what people are actually doing that's considered valuable. And to be honest, I think it's it's got to be some kind of deifying the celebrities so that giving them this money is considered, payment, appeasement of some kind. So why are we giving them this money? They don't do anything. Everything that you see is a lie. It's prefabricated PR. It's not worth anything. It's not fixing anything. It's not healing anything. I mean, some people could argue that maybe music or movies helps, like, with the psycho-emotional side of things, because you can live vicariously through that. Maybe. But at the same time, in the real world 3D aspect, it's not fucking helping anything. It's like we need a stark bump up of doctors' wages compared, or, a reducing of celebrity wages, because this is ridiculous. It's the materialism as well. That promotes materialism. I don't like that idea. I don't like show ponies. What we call show ponies in Australia is people who will do just about anything to get social approval or show off. And you just think, yeah, you're a show pony. You're not actually any good for anything. It's a facade. It's a lie. I can't stand that they're selling a lie. And they're doing it at such a high cost, where we could be sending the money somewhere else that's more useful, like cancer research or curing AIDS or, trying to fix the fucking planet, which is dying around us. It's like, it's okay, J-Lo got more ass updates and she got more pay. But our country's on fire at this point. It's fine. It's fine. It's the distribution of wealth in those circumstances just shits me off. It's like the current weather conditions in the UK, for example, it's like extreme heat. They're getting bushfires. It's like, you guys don't even have bush. How are you getting forest fires in the UK when it's, it's constantly damp. It's always damp. How do you even get fires? It's getting weird over there now. But as long as someone can turn around and, get paid for turning up because they wore someone's dress and they got paid for it, which they probably got for free, to be honest. I don't know why these celebrities keep getting free shit. If anything, they should be paying more. You've got the money. Stop fucking around with us. You've got to stop worshipping them. They don't do anything constructive. They're there for entertainment value. It doesn't do anything. In any case. So, my thing is, this is a common thing about being broke, is what do you do when you actually do get money? And I'm talking like proper wealth. And my brother and I have had this discussion. We've had this discussion because we grew up in poverty. His thing is, if we ever won lotto, and this is the main thing, everybody talks about this, I suppose, when you're broke as fuck, because you always want to know what would you do with it? My brother's thing would, if he won lotto, he'd be happy with, say, what was he saying? Something like, if he got 10 million. All right, so we set the number at 10 million. He said he'd give all of us $1 million to live on. So what's that? 6 million gone. The rest he would split 5 million gone. The rest he would split between his wife, him, and his daughter. And he's got a son on the way now, so I suppose that would be factored in. Now, I wouldn't consider that materialistic because you're still sharing it and it's going towards causes which could potentially better someone's lives. The materialistic thing would be to hoard the 10 million and, you know, not bother putting it into any kind of other projects or research or anything like that. He's not so much hoarding it as he is trying to live off it. I don't know what he would do with it afterwards. But his main thing is that he'd break it up and send it on. My thing is, I think, if I ever got anywhere near any kind of wealth, I would probably reinvest it in things that are charity-based and would promote research, because there's only so much you can use before it just sits there, does nothing. I mean, it's doing nothing. I mean, on the upside, if you invested in charity and stuff like that, it's tax write-off, so you should be doing it. Yeah, but how could you be that selfish to hold on to money that much? It's like, I mean, what does it do? I mean, I'm not the kind of person who wants social approval anyway, because I can't stand these people. But, you know, it's like, I wouldn't hold on to this vast amount of wealth to be counted Forbes whatever number on some kind of fucking list. It's like, oh, she's the 5th richest person in the world. It's like, I don't give a fuck. Who do you think I'm trying to impress here? I don't care. And that's because I've come from a background where you are on your own, regardless. You might have some friends, but chances are they're going to try and screw you for money. So, I've weaned myself of the need to impress people. I don't want to impress people. I just want shit that works and of reasonable cost. And by reasonable cost, I mean, does it perform the function at a decent price? Not does it look good? Is it a fancy car? Do I live in a fancy area, or do I have a big house? It's like, I don't give a shit about that. I want a safe, functional, newish apartment with a car that is affordable and easy to run and maintain. It's like, I'm going complete functionalism with this. Anything past that, I would probably turn into some kind of charity or reinvestment, which would then be turned into a charity. You know, I wouldn't be sitting there hoarding on to the 10 million just to say I've got it. It's like, I don't care. It's like, who would I tell? No one gives a fuck. Well, they probably would. And the second you would tell them is they'd come back asking for a payout. It's like, oh, remember when I lent you my jacket? I need 5 million. It's like, what? Yeah. It's an expensive borrowing system. I feel horrible about that. It's like, if I was a millionaire, I would definitely be one of those, you know, just anonymous. I'd never tell anyone. And then I do like random acts of awesomeness. You know, it's like, oh, we're giving like $5 million from an anonymous donor, yeah. And then I walk into the room with a mustache and a Groucho Marx, something going on. So, you never suspected me as I'm incognito, or something like that, you know. It'd be more fun. I mean, as soon as you start turning attention on yourself, you become a target. So why would you want to? Plus, it's fun to sit in a room with a bunch of people where you've done something and they don't know. It's fun. And they just, you know, under-suspect that you're capable of this. I've done it before. It's quite fun. I do like to live by the premise that no one suspects the butterfly. Like, no one suspects the butterfly. Like, who did this? Who ate the last of my cake? It wasn't me. It was me. I'm just not going to admit it. So, you know, it'd be fun. It's more of a game that way. It's like nobody really should want to stand up and take some kind of ego-tripping, ego-stroking bullshit where everybody's like, oh, aren't you wonderful, aren't you fabulous? It's like, great, I took money from something and I put it into something else. Fabulous. Is it worth anything? I'm hoping it helps someone, but at the same time, I'd rather do it anonymously. And I don't particularly like attention as well, so I don't even like getting fucking school photos, to be honest. And I'm the teacher, I have to. I hate doing that shit. Because I'm never going to get it right, and I always look like shit, and I'm just, I fucking hate this job. It's like, you know, I don't like school photos. I don't like photos in general. So if you look at my Instagram account, there's maybe 3 photos of me. Maybe 3. Out of hundreds of, like, dogs or cats or food, or it's like I'm way interested in other things than me. It's like, I don't want to see pictures of me. The other thing is, it's like, I don't like attention. I've never liked attention. I'm very happy to be a watcher. I watch people doing their stuff. I like watching people in public. I mean, it sounds weird and creepy, but, you know, to understand what's going on from a sociological standpoint, it's like, I can read people really well. I don't like interacting with them. It's like, yeah. Once you interact with them, it fucks up the picture. You know? Because then other shit comes out and you're like, I don't like this person. And I wish I hadn't interacted with them because they were awesome before I met them. It's horrible. It's like, you've got these idols. It's like, if I ever meet anyone from the royal family, I'm going to be severely disappointed. It's like, oh, you guys are assholes in public. Oh, how awful. Actually, to tell the truth, the only person I'm particularly attached to anymore is the Queen. Everyone else seems to be a money-grubbing arsehole or attention-seeking arsehole. I'm not happy with what they're doing right now. It seems to be, you know, they're playing each other off for attention. So that's materialism to me as well. It's like putting on the facade that you are a certain something for the sake of perpetuating money growth. It's like they claim to be wanting to act this way to get money for their charities, but at the same time it's very plastic, and I don't buy the shit myself. You know, I'm looking at it going, well, this is bullshit, because suddenly things are coming out in the background like, oh, you got to support the environment, but we use private jets emissions and stuff like that. I'm going, what the it's like hypocritical, very hypocritical. I can't stand that side of celebrities. Like, they tout one thing but then act another way. It seems to be very bullshitty. It's like, whereas, I tell you what, if you do live in poverty, you can't afford to be that way. It's like, you can't afford to go on holiday. So yes, you're going to be environmentally friendly. You can't afford to eat all the fancy foods. So of course you're going to not have, like, cruelty to animals. Because, you know, meat's expensive and shit like that. Caviar is expensive. We can't use it. We can't eat it. So you'll find maybe the most morally uncorrupt people could be in the poverty cycle right now because they can't afford to be corrupt. Oh, I find that hilarious. It's like, I just can't afford to. I'm sorry. I wish I could be an evil villain, an evil rich villain, but I just can't afford it. Everybody wants that volcano lair. Come on, everybody wants it. A lair with sharks, lasers on their head. Everyone wants that. You know, if only to get rid of, you know, people knocking at the front door. Dead. But there is a certain, I mean, you sell your soul for celebrity, I know that much. I mean, the facade that it's some kind of amazing thing is completely gone now, because we're watching celebrities completely wreck their fucking life. And it's all to do with either having too much pressure or too much attention or too much access to wealth where they're buying drugs and shit like that. And what's worse is, if you were on drugs and things like that in the poverty cycle, no one's watching you do it. People on the street might look at you like a fucking freak because you're spinning out and hugging a pole and stuff like that. But at the same time, because they're a celebrity, they've got cameras on them all the time. So the expectation is that they have to do the right thing. The expectation is, when they find that these people are just crackheads with money, yeah. Feet of clay situation right there. It just makes it worse. It compounds it, because whenever they fall, it's a cataclysmic fall. It's not just an everyday normal fall, whereas someone might stumble in life a bit and then pick themselves up, but no one really saw because nobody's, you know, paying attention. They're all busy with their own drama. When a celebrity does it, it's on a stage. And because we've deified them with this, what do they call it? Someone called it a cult of personality or something like that, but we've given them this, you know, high up position, and it's all derived from wealth, which is weird because it's a feedback cycle. We give them wealth because they're a celebrity and we deify them, and then because they've got the wealth, we deify them more. So it's a very weird feedback cycle. If we cut funding, well, we recognize that they're just fucking human. It's like, oh, after all, it's just a junkie. After all this, I do wonder. Feet of clay, biblical. Anyway, that's a whole big trip and ball scenario, Book of Revelation, I think that was. Anyway, Oh, there's a fun book. Anyway, no, if you want to go into the esoteric side of things. But, yeah, I don't think I would ever want to be a celebrity. First of all, I don't like the materialism, and I want to stay anonymous. So I've got to find a way, if I am going to be materialistic, to be rich anonymously. But I wouldn't use it to, you know, give myself a social stage. I wouldn't use it for social climbing because I don't give a fuck. Funny enough, it's like, why do I want your approval? I don't care about you enough to... It sounds horrible, doesn't it? It's like, surely you want our approval because you're in our social circles. Like, darling, I've spent the last 37 years avoiding people at all costs. I don't want to be in anyone's fucking social circle, money or no. It's like, I just want to be on my own and eat my snacks in my house, man. And not be bothered by noise. That's it. That's the main thing. It's like, that is a very simple life. I want enough money to not be bugged by people. Oh my God. And you get like Prince William, yeah? He's saying he wants to just be normal. And I'm sitting there going, no. Because normal, what by definition, normal is what is happening with the mass population. What's happening with the mass population is a shitload of poverty and you sitting in the 1%. Normal is what you're aiming for when you're aiming for... is that there is only poverty in the norm. It's the masses. It's like, you want poverty? Who asks for poverty? What kind of arrogance do you have when you say you want to be normal? Normal is broke. Normal is not being able to afford gas and electric at the moment in the UK. That's normal. No one can get it. No one can afford it. Everybody's going homeless. They're losing their jobs. It's like, you can't be that arrogant, self-conceited to say that you want to be normal. What you ideally want is what everybody fucking wants. It's to be able to have money and not have to fucking work. That is what your version of normal is, I swear to God. Because at the moment, he wants the money, yes, but he also has to go and do stuff like pull ropes and talk to people. Oh, God. Meanwhile, some labourer somewhere building something is like, fuck you, Will. And he's earning like a pittance. It's like, oh, such hard work. Did it hurt your delicate fingers pulling that silk rope? It's bullshit. That kind of shit annoys me. It's like, you want... I mean, is it that is his version of normal to not be on camera? Like Prince Harry did? Or is like, we just want normal, we just want to be left alone. And then he goes off onto fucking Oprah. And it's like, you fucking prat. That's not normal either. Nobody goes on Oprah. No one here is going on Oprah unless they've done something fucking ridiculously huge, like cured AIDS. Because Oprah is only interested in ways and people that will spend her money. She doesn't give a fuck about anything but promoting her brand. And that is part of celebrity. She'll feign concern for you as much as it will promote her sales and her viewers watching. Because again, she's part of the cult of celebrity. She wants her brand to be pushed forward. She's got billions or something now. So every time she looks slightly concerned, that's another million. It's like, I was looking at snippets of the interview because I couldn't find it on YouTube because apparently you have to buy a license to the Oprah channel or some shit like that just to watch the fucking episode of the interview Harry and Meghan did with fucking Oprah about how horrible the royal family is. And I was like, they probably are horrible, but there's also some good there. You have the opportunity, if you were a royal or celebrity, to put some good out because you've got the wealth. It's when you hoard it that it's a problem. And it make it all about you, then it's a problem. It's like, oh, my celebrity, my background, oh, everybody feels sorry for me with my millions as I dab my eyes with, £100 notes. It's like, nobody feels sorry for you, Harry, you're a cunt. But he's still got that victim mentality. It's, oh, my mum dies. So what? My mum died too. I just don't have a stage to tell everyone about it and it happened 20 years ago. Who fucking cares? It's like, how many people have lost their mums and just get on with their fucking life because there's no sympathy. Well, there might be some sympathy, but at the same time, you've got to stand up and get the fuck on with it, dude. I mean, seriously. It's been 20 odd years. Grow up. My mum Will's gone through the same thing. He doesn't sit there fucking crying about it. It's affected me. No, what it's affected is your pay pocket. Now you're trying to milk it again. Yet again. It's like... Because Diana was a celebrity in her own right. She had her own special thing. No one will fill her shoes. But she's got 2 sons here that are trying to milk her legacy for money and charity work and PR. And it's like, you fucking bastards. How is this helping her legacy? You milking it for money. It's like, if anything, you should take up her charities and do the work for free. Anything you make goes back into that charity. I don't want to hear that you're hoarding it into some fucking property in fucking Miami or wherever the fuck they live. I don't know. Somewhere stupid. Oh, Christ. It makes me angry. Because I went to Diana's grave, and I love Diana. And her grave, and her brother's the same as far as I'm concerned. Her brother has her supposedly buried on the grounds at Althorpe, on a little island that you can't get to because there's like a little mini lake around it. And you can see it from the bank. It's an egg-shaped island. You can see a podium of some kind and there's some trees around it. You can't really see anything. So she could be there. She could not be there. She might be somewhere else altogether, to be honest. I wouldn't leave her, isolated on an island. It says something very symbolic about the relationship they had. It's like she's isolated, trapped, if you will, stuck in this spot so that tourists can come around, pay a fee and see her dead body. It sounds really wrong to me. It's like, if she's dead, who knows? And she's supposed to be at peace in death. If her soul is meant to finally find some rest from all the shit that she's gone through for her life, why would you put her on public display and charge a fee? I cannot for the life of me understand how the fuck he thought that was a good idea. It's disgusting to me. Because this is someone's mother. The way her legacy is, she was a mother to many. She wasn't just, 2 boys' mum that died prematurely. She touched a lot of people emotionally, psychologically, a lot of causes, and I might be buying into the, cult of celebrity here a bit, but I actually saw the physical things that she did, and I thought, wow, that's actually really useful light worker right there. We could use some more of those guys. But you don't. I mean, who would do that to charge? And they claim, like, you go on a tour of the house, yes. You go, oh, it's a big fancy house, yeah, lovely, lovely. Anyway, but the main draw is the grave. And we all know it. And that's why he bumps up the price. It's like, oh, he was doing, last time I was there, because I've been like 2 or 3 times now to Althorpe, because I love the royal family. I love that kind of stuff. I'm a monarchist, sadly. The current state of it is going tits up, but yeah. I'm all about the Diana. I love Anne. She's got balls. Anyway. But you do the house tour. And the last time I was there, I've been there 2 or 3 times. Charles, her brother, Charles Spencer, was sitting there signing books he'd written in the forecourt. So he's using her grave as a draw card to promote his book as well, because he knows the tourists are going to be there. And so, of course, we want to read his book and sign his book and get his autograph. And I'm going, what the fuck is this? I cannot. It's milking. It's just using people for the worst reasons. And you wonder, do these people even have a fucking soul? I mean, the things they're doing in order to get a buck. To be honest, that's materialism done wrong. I couldn't believe it. I was infuriated. To be honest, leaving Althorpe last time and going, I am not fucking coming back, because he is just milking the death of someone to promote his own book. And I'm sitting there thinking, if you had not buried her on the Althorpe estate, and I know it is a country thing where if you die, you get buried on your own land, essentially your family land. But put her somewhere out of the way where people can't get to. Give her some fucking privacy, some peace. This thing she was craving for her entire fucking life. Stability she was looking for as well. She thought she'd find it in a marriage. She didn't fucking find it. She found a philandering asshole. And then she got stuck in it. And I can relate to that, because I was married to a philandering asshole. And I'm sitting there going, the last thing I want to be fucking doing when I want my peace and quiet is to be on a stage still with someone milking my death. It's like, oh, she was a lovely person. Oh, and there's a whole display saying how fucking lovely she is to the side there as well. In one of the, I think it's like a stable that they've converted to a mini museum for her. And I'm sitting there going, you are just milking your dead sister's celebrity status now. You're sick. You're fucking sick, dude. It's like, if you loved her, you would protect her even in death, and you'd put her somewhere out of the way where she's not going to have fucking tourists taking pictures of her corpse. It's like, there's something fucking wrong with you, Charles. Many things at this point, and I think you've been immersed way too much in materialism, where you're more than willing to do these things to your dead sister just to promote your own wealth. It's disgusting. It's like, do they have siblings, or they just have, you know, a commodity that they can use? It's sick. But then again, I've noticed like rich parents as well use their children as commodities. I've worked in some schools where they're quite fancy schools, and the helicopter parents don't see their kids as kids. They won't give them a childhood. They'll just, you know, this is what my next investment is. This is my child. This is an extension of me and my ego. I'm going to put the money in to make sure they get what they get and they can be promoted, because if they fail, it's a reflection on me. And you're sitting there thinking, first of all, this is a reflection of the child as an individual. You've got to respect the rights of the child. It's like, this is an individual in its own right. Nothing you do should reflect through your ego living vicariously through this child. It shouldn't reflect. It needs to create its own sense of worth and identity. Otherwise, it's, as an adult, going to be fucked in the head. Also can't stand people that dress their kids like mini-them. It angers me. I'm going, you are an asshole. This kid will have no sense of identity or worth because you think it's you, and you think it's cute to dress up your kid like this. And it's predominantly rich people as well. I've noticed that. It annoys the fuck out of me. It's like, oh, isn't it cute? Like, if you ever look at the Kardashians' kids, I mean, they're fucked in the head, Kardashians themselves, because they are the biggest money whores. It's just money whores. And they don't seem to be ashamed of it at all. I mean, they'd sell each other, they'd have sold each other down the river just for a buck. It's like, and they do it as a TV show. So they're going, what the fuck? You have no soul. What the fuck? And I wouldn't be surprised if they are atheists, to be honest. But they don't have kids. They have, you know, handbags. To them, a child is just an accessory where they can get papped. It annoys the fuck out of me, because this poor fucking child is going to grow up with a complex. Because it's not going to see its own worth beyond what its parents sees it as, you know, a fashion accessory. It bugs the shit out of me. As a teacher, as a woman, as a, you know, would have been parent at one stage, had they survived, to see celebrities use kids to further their career, that annoys the fuck out of me. That is soulless. I can't see kids that way. These are babies, man. They're to be protected at all costs, even from an assholing narcissistic parent, if need be. Ugh, disgusting. Anyway, that's the side of materialism as well. You objectify other human beings in order to pursue money. So you should not. I mean, that's your blood, man. You've birthed it. Your sole responsibility is to promote that child to, you know, survive for the next generation, to give it a decent quality of life. But they're giving it all the money and stuff, and then they're using it as, you know, a prop. It's not human at that point. It's a handbag. That annoys the fuck out of me. I'm going, ugh. And in the same degree, I see them using, and the royal family is using kids as a prop as well. It's like, so-and-so took, what's one of their kids' names? Charlotte to Wimbledon. Woo! Does she actually give a fuck about tennis? She's 3. It's like, seriously? Yeah, but we got great pictures. It's like, isn't that just child labor? Aren't you making money off this? This is child labor. It's fucked up. I'm sure we have laws about child labor. It's like, oh no, it's okay because it's a celebrity. It's like, fuck that, dude. No. This kid's going to feel violated by the time it gets to 10. It's going to have no sense of privacy or room to develop as a human being because it's constantly on the fucking stage from birth. And you constantly have to perform. It's like, dance, monkey. It's do something cute. Come on, George, do something cute. Oh, yeah, pull a face. Oh, isn't that cute? It's like, meanwhile, this kid's writhing in agony because it's hurt itself somehow. But, oh, isn't it cute when it loses a leg? Oh, yeah. They're soulless bastards. I don't understand how they can get their kid in front of a camera like that. School pictures are trialing enough. Get them all to sit still. And sit still for the fucking camera. We just want proof that you're alive at this age. This is all we want. But these fuckers are taught to perform, and they're fed lines and things like that from birth. It's like, it's mental. I feel very sorry for them. I feel like someone needs to get them out of there and actually give them a fucking childhood where nobody's watching, and they can fuck up, and it's fine. It's fine to fuck up. I mean, I have a niece called Sophie. She's now 15, 16 or something like that. But when she was first born, my sister was so anal about trying to get it right. And this kid was so, closeted. Two. She was afraid of getting things wrong. And my sister was only, compensating for a fucked up childhood because she didn't want to turn out like my mum, because my mum's a berserker bitch. Or was. Right now she's pretty mellow because she's lost all control of us. But my sister was paranoid about getting the parenting situation wrong, so she went all out trying to get it right. I mean, by the time she had my second niece, she's like, fuck it. I'm like, yeah, that's probably about it. You got to relax a bit, dude. But at 2, my Sophie, my niece, was like, I don't want to get dirty. I don't want my hands to get dirty. I don't want to, I don't want to get my clothes dirty. I'm sitting there thinking, when I was 2, I was face down in a sandpit rolling in mud. It's like, I had the best time on my own. As long as my parents weren't there, I was having fun. And I was covered in mud a lot. It was great. And I would still love to get covered in mud because it's fun. But this kid at 2, and she's so concerned about, putting a foot wrong at 2. And I'm sorry, I had to get in there and I had to teach her how to be filthy. It's like, get over here, you little shit. I'm going to go rub some mud on us and stuff. It's like, you've got to teach them. You've got to give them the space to get it wrong. It's okay to get it wrong. Absolutely. This is how we learn. We trial and error. I mean, it's natural inclination as a learner. We trial and error. It's how we ended up surviving this long, as we had idiot guinea pigs. And when they got it wrong, we advanced, basically. It's like, well, I'm not doing that. Brilliant. But I feel for these kids that are on the stage, and as a teacher and as a woman and as a potential mum, it's like, I can't imagine putting your kids on stage, charging a fee, and then telling them to perform. It is a performance. I wonder if they're going to get to an age where, they start reflecting on who the fuck they are. It's like, who am I? I've been doing this since birth. Who am I? Am I this person in this fake facade? It's like, is anything about me real, or has it been fed to me by some PR man in a grey suit? It's, who am I? They can have an identity crisis. And I'm not surprised that Harry went off and did drugs, quite frankly. It's like, if you've been told that you're a certain person your entire life, when it comes to experimenting, you're going to want to experiment big. It's like, try a little bit. It's not going to work, so we try something bigger. And he went off and he did his Las Vegas whoring and shit like that, and drugs. And I'm sitting there going, well, sounds like a gap year for most guys, but I never did that. I didn't have a gap year. I went straight from high school to uni. But, they're so closeted and controlled. I am not surprised he went off and did some fucked up shit. But then again, he had the wealth to do it. So he could just jet off to fucking Vegas and take drugs and hang out with strippers and play poker and fucking things like that, because he could afford to. You do it where I used to live, you probably smoked weed and fucked up the rest of your life. It's because you didn't want to perform on anything, didn't want to get a job. It's like, given the materialistic way of things. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't just a rich kid. He was a rich kid on stage. And I think that's what mainly pissed him off. It's like, he couldn't just experiment and do these fucked up things and get away with it. People were watching. And that's why he's now trying to play the fucking victim. It's like, oh, all this bad stuff happened. So he's trying to justify why he did it. He couldn't just say, I had a very controlled upbringing and I just wanted to let my fucking hair down. and there was no room to let my hair down, so when I finally did, I exploded. You can't just say that. You know, he can't admit it, because that would mean losing face. And I think, honestly, he's still afraid of the establishment from which he removed himself, supposedly removed himself. I think he's just detoured, to be honest, because he's still trying to milk the title scenarios. He's like, I'm still a highness. It's like, no, you're not. And first of all, I don't think Prince Charles is a fucking prince, because he's not acting very fucking princely anyway. And if he makes king, I hope someone tops him. It's like, the whole double standards is like... I mean, and this is a podcast in itself, because I do have a very... you know, bias account of what monarchy should be. It should be. Whether it is or not, I think, you know, the Queen's part of a dying breed at this stage. Because the ones that are coming after him are flawed, heavily flawed, and I would not associate that with any kind of God-given, divine, you know, it's like, I don't think God would be fine with you cheating on your wife, dude. It's like, I'm not saying that you have the divine right of kings. I'm saying you're an idiot with money and who's been surrounded by sycophants his entire life. So of course, yes, they're going to agree with everything you fucking say, and anyone who doesn't agree with what you say probably gets bumped off or silenced or paid off. You know, it's that's not what monarchy is to me. To me, monarchy is to support your people. You are a parent figure as far as I'm concerned. You are looking at what needs to be fixed, healed, provided for, definitely. And you fix your society and your environment as much as you can. I mean, you got the Magna Carta standing in the way at this point. But to be honest, if Charles makes it to the throne, that's going to be a godsend. Because I think he will fuck it up. Because I think he has, you know, embraced materialism just that little bit too much, where he's now separated from the human race and has no grasp of reality and what it means to be a person. Because he has lived a life where he's pre-constructed reality. Everything's polished and painted. Nothing is real to him. So when somebody says otherwise, other than what he says it is, he cracks the shits. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see if that works out, or if it goes tits up, or whatever it is. But again, it can be, in that sense, materialism can be a negative thing. On the upside, chasing coin to get yourself out of a shit situation that you were born into, that you don't belong in, that you want no part of, is not a bad thing. That form of materialism, not a problem. As long as it is constructive and not destructive. And by constructive, I mean holistically constructive, not just ego stroking. And definitely, by the time you get to any form of wealth, you should be passing it back, paying it forward, carrying it on. Don't hoard that shit. Wealth is meant to flow. It's not meant to become stagnant. When it becomes stagnant, it becomes poisonous. It's like Gollum, you know, Lord of the Rings Gollum, the precious. People become afraid to spend the money because it's their status. I've got 10 million. That's my position in society. It's like, your position counts for shit. If we had one good economical slump, you'd be fucked. It's like, at least if you spread the money out, you can maybe perpetuate further wealth, or you can help someone, you can cure cancer, something like that. It should be pushed further. It should be, consider if you are given a large amount of money, it's a gift from the universe. You are given the opportunity to help and to contribute to society, not just in a small way, but in a huge fucking way. You could cure cancer with this amount of money. But what do? They hoard it. Because ego says, I have to keep this. This is mine. If I lose this, then I'm worth nothing, or I'm worth less. And it is ego. It doesn't mean you're worth less. If anything, socially, you'll gain more. Because people will recognize this is a good person. This person helped us. This person saved this many lives from AIDS. You saved this many people from poverty. You are saving someone by helping them and spreading your money out. So materialism to hoard is bad. Materialism to grow is good. Grow out of poverty. Grow, you know, an economy. Grow people to help. You don't want to hoard it just for the sake of saying, I have this, I am a number. It's like, it dehumanizes you. It's crazy. I've just pulled up to work. I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave you there. So if anyone wants to give me a couple of $1 million, yeah, go for it, buddy. I'm into that. Although I will remain anonymous, so you know. I don't want the fame. I'm just walking on this beach with my Brazilian, slightly modestly pregnant girlfriend. If anyone's seen Dylan Moran do stand up, I thoroughly suggest it. That man is a beautiful man. He is gorgeous. Hilarious as fuck. Irish, of course, so of course he's in my good books. English, Irish, all these people, Scots. Oh my God, I love my people. Anyway. So yeah, the thing to take away from this is if you're going to be materialistic, at least use it for good. Don't hoard that shit. It is not yours to keep. People assume that it's theirs to keep. It's not. It's there to be used as a gift, as a tool to promote growth. That is all it is. To get someone out of a hard situation, to help other people. That's all it's there for. You don't get to keep it. You don't get to die and be buried with it. I mean, you might be buried with it, but someone will rob you. It's like, you put yourself out there to get that done to you. It's not for show. It is for, you know, look at it. Give it a chance to do something good. So don't just use it to stroke your ego. Oh, for God's sake, help improve the lives of children. Because if I get one more asshole celebrity saying, I just had a baby, I need to be paid $1 million for a photo shoot, I'll lose my shit.